Good day, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing on today? This is Momentum Devotional, giving you time to be able to see how you are reluctant in your actions. God has given us a great time to be able to be in phase with each other. And I look at this and I say that I can make this into a small book, internet book, a channel book, because this is a great idea for me. This is something that I am trying new, and I want you to be able to pay attention that I'm not on here for free. I am hoping to get monetized soon. And I said, Lord God, help me to be able to do those things with being casted and being esteemed. And, God has given me everything I need in order for myself to be able to be in Landry. I have traveled to New York where every person is moving the same direction, early in the morning going to work and late in the evening going home. And I thank God that I have met a few people there. And I had met a man there. He said his name was Pocket. He looked like he could be one of his family members because his looks were enhanced. Of all of the things that I see in my life, I see how I am able to be reluctant to these things. And I said, you know what, Lord God, I just want to be able to travel some more. And I'll get more into that later. But what a life when you always be judged for the stuff that you do, regardless if you like it or not. And people don't want you to have nothing. And you got to realize that there are some people out there that are like that. And they will never have the costing in life or the castrations of an esteem. But when they see that they are in full reality, nobody is going to be reluctant to be able to be esteemed by the things and the rights that you do. I have been able to see myself as being a great point. And I told myself one day I'm going to be the biggest, greatest producer ever. And I feel like I am. I work behind the scenes with a lot of people. I work behind the scenes for Wendy Williams, for her husband. We call NetJack on outside. And I have been trying to figure out, how could you go and be so reluctant and so peaceful, I was asked, in the time of need, in the time of orchestrated mass, and the person cannot say it. And I said, well, thank you so much for keeping your class with me, because a lot of people, they just want to talk to you about stuff, but they're not really trying to give you the interest that you need in order for yourself to stay on. And I said, you know what, Lord God, one day I'm going to use that as being a great force in reality, because people go through what they go through. And when you lose a relationship like I did, it was for the better. I was in a relationship with a man for 2 whole years that I was married to. And I felt like he was showing his true colors finally. And God told me while I was reading Revelations to let that marriage go, because that's what I have been taught and instilled me, to deal with what you got to deal with in order for yourself to be able to be redeemed by what it takes in this culture. And he didn't have what he thought that he should have, but God made a comfortable life for him. And the only thing that I can do is look and see how God has been able to give me the opinion about these things, and how you can see that God is the real reason why you have what you have. And it's not easy being portrayed as a bad person when you are a good person. I've been dealing with some very violent comments about myself, being reluctant and being over passive and being a tired-eyed event. And see, what I did is I showed that God is changing me into something different. God is changing me into something that I can get myself into reality. And I asked, how can you become more of a culture when you don't even see what reluctance is? And you got to be able to fall in line with other people, and you don't know their differences. You don't know their mind mass. And I just so happened to look at all of the things that I've been through. And I said, Lord God, you are the glory to everything that is in my passion. And I shall continue to be in right of a lot of stuff, because I've been looking and seeing exactly how I'm going to plan out my day. And I do that. On Sunday, I be swapping God. I've been making sure I soak in everything about that day because I'm getting ready for my week, you know, and I just been looking at how reluctant God has placed me in a position to speak to you all on today to let you see how everything is going to be all right. And I don't have any little children, but when I did struggle. And I struggled with finance. I was penny pinching all the time, but God still blessed us to be able to stay here. And of all of the things that I have seen, I've never been upset about those things that made me feel like it was an accustomed to what real reality is. And I told myself that it took a lot of time for me to be able to see how at an age of 38 years old, I was put into a predicament, and I said, I got to get and put myself into a perspective to where I'm able to get my respect. And it's not easy. It's not easy being a cluster of what it is it takes in time for people to be able to be reliant to you. It's not easy for you to go out and work behind the scenes. Everybody wants you to work in front of the camera because that's what they enjoy. And that's not what it is that I enjoy, you know. And I enjoy the fact that I went through transverse and I had all of the things that I had. And I said, Lord God, help me to be able to continue to keep myself together because life is life. And when you look at your memoir, when you look at your services, you realize that culture and reality takes place because people give you that, you know, and it's never going to be the same. Life is not always the same. And you got to realize that some people can live a systematic life and have something out of it. And other people, they need to start living a systematic life also and getting something out of it. Because it takes two to have a conversation, and it takes one person to stop all of this massless events. And the only thing that I can say is that I am on the epiphany of knowing that God has given me a great turn into reality to be able to see these things as being a force into my own form. And I want you guys to know that love comes from within, and I love everybody. I respect everybody. And I just been trying to figure out how can I be able to come to you and talk to you about these things, because I get real with a lot of stuff sometimes, and I want you to understand that if it offends you and your culture on television, then what type of person are you when you can't even relationally give yourself what it is that you need in order for yourself to be able to be in time? Because every day is not the same. And we look at God and we take pressures with God because God is the one that's showing us that we are going to be able to make it through. And it don't matter whether or not you're a man. If you're a man and you're listening to this, just look at how God has blessed you to be here on today, to be able to be reluctant in the time and esteem and all of the things that God has given, to be able to see you as being a great choice for the memoir of time. And it's not because of reluctivity or because of elastics or because of COVID. COVID was a lesson in life to be able to let you see how God can still help you to be able to make it through. And yeah, it was a lot of mass and deaths, but guess what? God called those people onto heaven. Those people are no longer in pain. And I want you to realize that you could have been called to heaven. And you wouldn't have known that God would have called you if you got sick, you know? But just let's go in this life and be a portion to what God wants us to be, so we would never have to go back into this slavery that's called mentality, that's called living, that's called financial, that's called family life, that's called living your life to the fullest. And I want you to do that. I want you to be able to see that God has given everything in His manifold. And I'm looking at the book of Chronicles where I'm able to tell the truth and the whole truth, so help me God, because I want you to be able to do the same thing and never give up, because God is always going to be there with you no matter what. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.